What if we had one more episode of What If on the Fake Nerds Watch? Hi, guys. I'm Brandon C. McClure. With me, as always, is Ben Magnet.
Hello there.
Sparks Witty.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
And Ryan Eliopoulos.
Hi, welcome to the finale, plus another one.
We're talking about the last two episodes of What If, season 1, What If Ultron Won, and What If the Watcher Broke His Oath. So I guess we'll probably take it one episode at a time, as I think I prefer.
As we've done in the past.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about, What If Ultron Won. What do we think about this one?
From what I remember, I liked it.
It has been a little while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it. I remember like the fight stuff. Again, like the fights have always been like good in the season, but like the big reality fighting between the Watcher and Ultron, very cool stuff.
I was driving home thinking about talking about these episodes, and one thing that kept running through my mind is I'm like, why did it have to be Black Widow and Hawkeye at the end?
Yeah.
Like, you know who I would have believed more?
Anyone else?
Black Widow and Quicksilver.
Oh, that'd be a cool idea.
And use Quicksilver in the episode.
That's too good an idea.
I know.
Also, this episode might have been written before the WandaVision even happened. So,
well, but that wouldn't matter because you could still just use Aaron Taylor Johnson because it was Age of Ultron events. And just say that like Ultron killed Wanda, but Quicksilver
I see what you mean. No, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I was like, that'd be way cooler than like just, hey, we're just doing a Black Widow Hawkeye story again.
Yeah.
Like, which is more or less just like Hawkeye kind of was nothing to me throughout the episode. Like Jeremy Renner's fine. Like,
he's my favorite part of the episode.
Oh, well, that's cool. Like, I mean, I didn't find it entirely impactful. I think more than anything, what it is like it's trying to sell me on emotion that I don't buy.
Yeah,
sure. I can kind of understand that. Ben, what did you think about this one?
I also really liked it. This is once again going back to what I was saying earlier about what for these episodes is like it has to stick. It's like it's a good like what if, as in I really like Ultron. After he wins on Earth, he goes, "What else is there?" And for him, it's just it just goes out to other universes and just wrecks Thanos' shit right off the bat.
You know what this does? This also creates a plot hole in the the zombie episode because Thanos comes to where the Mind Stone is. You know, he shows up where the Mind Stone is. So he's like, "Oh, I'll show up here because the Mind Stone is there." So why in the zombie episode does he go to Wakanda if the Mind Stone's not in Wakanda?
Because that's what the writers needed it to happen. I don't know.
I hate that shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal. I just had a fleeting thought. Yeah. For me though, Hawkeye was the best part of this episode. I thought his emotional arc of the episode really worked for me. And I also think Jeremy Renner's pretty good in the as a voice actor. There's the bit where he's flying the Quinjet with Black Widow, and he sees the bombs going, and he just his only thought is of what's his wife's name? Nora.
Yeah, Nora.
His wife is a Nora, and I thought that was really sweet. And then leading to his culmination of his arc, where he tells Widow's like, "I don't want to fight anymore," and he does the final the final sacrifice. I thought that really worked for me.
I thought that was fine too. It did make me like, cool, we're doing the reverse of Endgame, but this is the way Endgame should have gone because he should have died in Endgame. But
this is canonical.
This is fine. I'll amend what I said about Hawkeye and say that I don't think Hawkeye was the problem. I think Hawkeye and Widow together was the problem in the sense of like they were like the encapsulation of we are trying to do two tones at once and it's not working because she's being funny and he's being sad. And we're just going to keep rubbing those against each other and not having them actually mesh well. And I get like the intention was for her to be trying to cheer him up. And like even he like shits on that. But like she's almost like she's in a emotionally different place than him, and it makes the tone of the piece not feel consistent.
That I'll agree with, because I think Black Widow, all in all of this show has been pretty strong in the writing, but having the two of them be, and it's weird because we've seen like these writers try to tackle different tones of storylines to no effect, and this is really the first time that they tried to tackle two different tones with characters, and no surprise, it doesn't mesh as well as just sticking to one singular tone.
And I think weirdly, the only reason why Black Widow kind of comes out a little better for me is because the whole episode doesn't really care about staying in Clint's tone. It just wants Clint to be in that tone. But the episode itself and the world doesn't really give a shit about staying in that tone.
Arnim Zola's in this episode.
Here's the thing, like, I did not feel the sense of, like, devastating loss other than, like, you telling me it was a loss.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, we're saying this is a big loss. That I did with the Doctor Strange episode. You know? And that's where I'm like, I wish you'd committed more to, like, Black Widow being in this place and that kind of thing. Because, like, she's more depressed in Endgame than she is about the rest of the entire world being gone, and I don't.
Right, and this would even be like before she even finds her family, because the events of Black Widow wouldn't have happened yet in this timeline.
And the whole world's like effed.
Yeah, the whole world's gone. All the people.
Yeah, so like Hawkeye's not really the problem, but he kind of feels like he's the problem because the whole episode doesn't want to support what his tone is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
I also like a good example is like, it's funny, but like, again, it's tonally inconsistent. The bit with the Watcher being like, you're so close. You're so close. That's it. Just look. What are you doing? And then she looks in the box and he's like, that was my box. And I'm like, I mean, we don't have to be depressed all the time, but can we commit to a sense of the moment of what's happening?
They're writing like sentence by sentence, but they're not checking the tone of each sentence.
Yeah,
basically, there's like for me, like whatever
it's all bits.
What I remember about this episode is really like the Ultron stuff, and like I really liked Ultron in this episode.
Yeah.
Watcher powering up into his.
They go
armor.
to Mustafar.
I go to Mustafar. Hell yeah.
Interestingly, I didn't read the Watchers looking at the box as humorous. I saw it as desperation, and I wanted to bring that up because I really like Jeffrey Wright's performance in this episode specifically. I think he really shines, kind of finally taking the center stage that he hasn't yet. This is really the first time that we see him as like a full-fledged character, and we're really looking at this episode from his point of view through like 20 minutes of it. Because once he tells the story of how Ultron destroyed all the worlds, that's his point of view from then on. It's not Black Widow's or Hawkeye's. And I felt that his kind of desperate. I really felt like his desperation was there through Jeffrey Wright's voice acting throughout. Honestly,
I think it's supposed to be the way you read it, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I read it that way, because I'm kind of was more with him. Like I thought it was kind of played for like a laugh. Like it is desperate, but like it to me it read like kind of funny. But I didn't laugh. So like I guess maybe I just read it differently. Yeah.
And that could be like maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I just read it differently. Like
I like your version better.
Well, that's fair. I mean, but at the end of the day, like we each see art in general with different eyes. Like we don't register things the same way, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I meant this specifically. Like, I didn't read desperation in his voice as dark as I think you did.
Yeah. I got chills again. Once again, like whenever the Watcher like gets involved in the story, like the first, like when the Doctor Strange one, when he like shows up with Doctor Strange, and then when he shows up, when we go through his veil, and he's like, "What the hell?" Like I got chills. I was like, "Oh damn," because Ultron could see him.
No, that was my favorite part of the whole episode is when when it's just like Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange is like, someone's there, isn't there? But he's like, okay, it's probably nothing. But with Ultron, he's like, there is something there. Then once he gets all the Infinity Stones and he uses them in the way, he's like, oh, there you are. And he breaks through essentially reality and into the multiverse. Mm-hmm. That it was like oh shit.
Even the Watcher's like, shit.
Yeah.
That is effective. My favorite line in the whole episode, I remember, it's like, I can see you He's like looking through the multiverse for the Watcher. I'm like, that's awesome. Like the thing that this episode and the next episode I think do really well, and the movies do it too. But like again, there's a restraint to the budget at some point. Is like showing the power of the Infinity Stones and like how you like reality is at your whim, and that is something that like that I really appreciate about these 2 episodes about that specifically.
Yeah, I agree. Sparks, you wanted to say something a little earlier? Did you want to?
Yeah, I think everything with the Watcher and Ultron works fairly well. I think Ross Marquand does a good job of replicating James Spader.
He's putting in work in the show.
Yeah, and I think it works. I like the episode. I like the idea of Zola. I like what they're going for, their goal and everything. I'm a little confused why Ultron like will blow up the Nova Corps planet and all this other stuff where there's resistance, but like he knows Black Widow and Hawkeye are still fighting on Earth, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. I won't blow up Earth.
Yeah, it's this, and also the next episode of like when someone has unlimited power, like how do you write that and make it seem like like there's stakes or there's like, and like I think like the movies do it really well. I think the show doesn't do it as well because they have to find out like, why is Hawkeye, as cool as he could be, why is Hawkeye the last survivor in the universe?
No, but that's a really good point. Like the movies deliberately powered down Thanos.
Yeah.
To make it so that Thanos isn't destroying a planet, and then when he gets to Earth, the audience doesn't say, "Why don't you just do that here?"
Yeah.
Because it's not something that maybe he is capable of. It, we don't see him capable of it, so we don't think about that. But in this episode, we see him destroy a planet just to destroy Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, also, like, Thanos is an intelligent, not that Ultron is intelligent, but he's like an intelligent, rational being, but he's evil. Ultron just wants to kill people. He would have no problems killing these people.
Yeah.
So, it's just like, again, you want to write the story you want to write. I get that point. I just think they could have delivered it in a way that made it, make a little more sense for this world.
If you don't have him destroy a planet, then the audience isn't thinking, why don't you just destroy this planet?
There's also like a sense of Ultron already supposed to have kind of an omniscience with his other drones. That should only be amplified by having the Infinity Stones. So the fact that he can't be aware of what the other drones are dealing with and just be like, whoa, not that, is a little odd. I mean, like, I minor quibble. I don't really care. Like, I hand wave it away.
At the end of the day, it's still.
But I agree with you about like Hawkeye and Black Widow are our guys, and Ultron's not just going, well, I can take care of it.
It's not like Bruce Banner, the Hulk, who can he can survive in the apocalypse. But
or again,
it's like
a perfect opportunity to use Quicksilver, which dawned on me, and
that's
I'm like, man, they should have.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to talk a bit about. I really love the design of Ultron in this. The Vision and Ultron merged together. I think that's a really cool design. With the cape and the lance and reminds me of a Digimon, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. And Gallantmon. He reminds me of Gallantmon. That's exactly who he reminds me of. From Digimon Tamers. And when he and I think Ross Marquand is really funny, not really good. Sorry, I was thinking about 2 different thoughts. He's really good as kind of doing what I think the show has done really well, which is, the voice actors who are replacing the actors' roles have gotten their cadence down. They've gotten the way they speak, not so much their voices. And I think Ross Marquand, who is a really good impersonator anyway, has gotten just the way James Spader talked through as Ultron, just nailed it. And I think that's solid.
And he's so good. Like I wouldn't I would have preferred James Spader, but I wouldn't. If
you're not getting him,
if you would ask me who, I was like, I wouldn't think it's the guy who's already been another character in the show.
Right.
Like he's really good. He's a good voice actor.
Yeah. If I may wax poetical about our own what if of this show, ideally, this is one where I sat there and I'm like, I kind of would have wanted to actually see the whole, not just like the quick clip through explained by the Watcher of this different Age of Ultron. I'd want to see how he got the vibranium body. Obviously, like theoretically, if you had your split moment where Wanda would have touched the Vision and known what he was going to use the body for, and that's ultimately what threw his plans off. If Wanda did that, but Ultron was able to actually successfully kill Wanda before she did anything about it. How that all tumbled apart, and then into him getting the stones and them the Black Widow Hawkeye thing and end at the point where it's him knowing the Watcher is there. And then from there pick up and like have a big movie finale of all the stuff with him and the Watcher and the setup for the Guardians and doing the finale. Like
they didn't want to.
I would have liked that whole story.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of bummed that it's like half set up for the finale and half a bit of that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will completely agree with that because, you know, we know that we've known for a while that this went from 10 episodes to 9 episodes due to the pandemic. They prioritized. Personally, I think the wrong episode, though. I think that episode should have been, that the next episode specifically should have been pushed to the next season. And we should have gotten kind of what this was, that like Watcher Vision, the Watcher Ultron fight as like the finale of this season. And then like the next season would be the Guardians of the Multiverse are going to form.
So it's been an anthology show up until now. Now this is when, okay, now it's a story. And we're introducing our final villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just again, like if you're gonna make him the final villain, he needs more time if you're gonna do that. But again, that's not. I like a lot of aspects of the show, but like I agree, Brandon. They should have just kept with the anthology thing and have like the resolution be maybe the next season.
I'll even push it further that like I wish we were much further away from this.
Yeah,
I would have preferred that the Watcher never broke his oath, never had to this season. I would have rather it just stayed completely.
Imagine we got like 2 full seasons,
and like you got tiny idea of the Watcher like minorly interfering. He's like, oh, that was bad.
The season finale.
No.
Oh yeah.
Of me. Yeah. But then you know. Carry on season 2 starts to build into this Ultron story. We get that Ultron, and then it all ends with a giant episode, which is practically a film, because we understand that also one of the things the pandemic did is cut the length of these episodes down. These episodes would have potentially run much longer, which might have helped a lot of them.
Yeah.
Maybe not all, but a lot, where we've said like it feels like they are burdened by like a shorter time restraint.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that actually wasn't something they were going to have to deal with originally.
Yeah. If every episode got 10 minutes, like
I feel like the Guardians of the Multiverse thing, the finale that we'll get into, and I don't want to start just yet, but I'm just saying like that could have been like a big animated film event at the end of season 2. I wish the Watcher had held back. I wish we hadn't gone this far, this hard, this fast.
I wonder.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think you're absolutely right. There is a sense that there is no point where the Watcher has just small moments where he breaks his oath in this, and it's not a gradual thing. It is that he is forced to break this oath completely at the end of the episode. Whereas now that you say it, I didn't even think about this, but now that you said it, like I totally would have preferred if like the equivalent of, I'm not saying this episode, but like the equivalent of maybe he drops the box on Jeremy Renner's head. And that's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I interfered a little bit, and like little chunks.
Like we watch like if every season is 10 episodes, at the end of the 20th episode, someone looks in the sky and goes, "Who's that?"
Yes. Oh my god.
That was me.
Right.
I got chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
And
they moved too quickly on bringing the Watcher to the forefront.
And
I wish he'd stuck in the background longer.
I think it's because of Multiverse of Madness. Not I'm saying like anything from this directly is going to be in that, but the multiverse stuff, like the what if stuff, like it is going to correlate into the Spider-Man movie and the Doctor Strange movie somehow. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they had to get the Watcher interfering now.
I really question how much that's true now that we have an idea
of
like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something
at least
that spills over like on a minor level, but like knowing now that like some of these episodes were written in the end of 2018, early 2019, like before Endgame had even come out.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of wild. I don't know necessarily how well, you know, at that point, I think Scott Derrickson was still on Multiverse of Madness. Like we were at a different point in what the plan was. Who knows? I definitely like my ideal interpretation of what if. I would have preferred an entire first season that was just anthologies, Uatu in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like he interfered once and then he slapped himself on the hand and he went, I shouldn't have done that. That was really bad. Ooh, no, I'm a bad Watcher. Yeah. But like nobody notices him yet. You're right. Cause like build that moment, build that tension. Cause that's the whole point of having a show, and like get to season 2 and then do the like, whoa, here we go. And like have it be a way bigger deal. Like people didn't know the Watcher could do that. Like, it definitely makes me sit here and go like, yeah, we can do more what if stories, but like where is there to like big bombastic.
Are they
go
going
from here with the Watcher? There's just you did it. Like there's nowhere bigger to go.
Because are we just gonna have another season of him watching and then interfering again?
God, I hope not.
Like,
I hope we don't have another crossover.
That's a really good point, because like where do you go? You just watched a villain attempt to destroy the whole multiverse, where the Watcher had to do his Super Saiyan thing and fight him. Like you've already done it. You've done that.
This is a bigger threat than Thanos ever was, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Ben, you've been silent for a bit. Sorry, Sparks.
No, you guys have been talking good ideas, and now that I think about it, I kind of wish that's what we got. As in, because we going into this, we think, okay, these were just anthologies. These weren't gonna tie into it. I mean, we thought about it. We had a feeling because in the trailer you see the shot of the Guardians of the Multiverse, but I kind of do wish that little by little, the Watcher interfered a little bit there, and then he would have been like, I shouldn't have done that. Or then even next season, he starts interfering more and more because he knows the multiverse is in danger or something. And then it would have accumulated into this big thing.
Or, like, that's also a good point. Like, what if in the second season, he knows that there's a threat building for the multiverse, so he's pushing specific heroes into a specific direction. He is in small ways.
Nudging,
Right.
It goes from him pushing a box, and it turns into a slippery slope. And then, like, you get to the part where Ryan says, and someone looks up and goes, "Who's that?"
That'd be so cool. Yeah.
So
Argola.
What we got in this episode, I mean, I still enjoyed, especially because Ultron's my favorite part of this episode. I think the design of Super Ultron essentially is just so cool with the stones and the cape and everything. And
it's pretty cool.
I mean, the fight scene in the end is really rad. It's like them going through universes and just trying to beat each other up. That's awesome.
A lot of fun.
It's like a Marvel Dragon Ball Super Broly fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, no, like for real. Like they break the universe in similar ways with like the glass shattering. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ultimately I liked this episode more than the other one that we're going to talk about. Because of that. Sorry, my cat just scared the crap out of me. He opened the door.
I'm gonna point out one thing as we transition into the finale that like irks me in a sense of like, again, like a longer gestation and build would have made this make sense more. I don't get at all why Ultron's drones invade Party Thor's universe, but nowhere else.
Yeah.
That bothers me, even though I love the bit of Thor having to fight them. I'm like, and I know kind of the reason why is because the directors have also said that every story of What If had to end in some way a little lesser than the main MCU because the MCU has to be the better timeline. And I'm like, that's a stupid rule. That's a stupid rule.
That's the worst. It's a what if story. It's not a technical. It's not the true canon.
Well, the way I read the same interview, he said that was I've not read every What If comic, so I cannot disprove what he said. But apparently, that's what he said. All the What If that's what If the comic line had the same mandate.
Maybe
I don't know for sure though.
That's a dumb rule to have because that means like we can't have like again things I'd like this show to do. In Loki, we get an idea of Loki variants, and there's one who's just a soccer star.
Yeah.
There's a universe where the Avengers are just soccer teams that fight each other. And, like, I want to be able to see that in a sports anime episode of What If.
Hell yeah.
That doesn't have to end with, like, stupid big stakes or anything. It can just be like, then they went and they won the championship, and that's the end of the day. And I don't want them to be like, well, we can't do that because that's a better, happier existence than the MCU. I don't want them to be like
I'm sorry. I'll have to argue that the universe where T'Challa is Star-Lord is a better timeline than Pierre Quill being Star-Lord. I'm just saying.
But Ben, they end that episode with Kurt Russell's ego getting Peter because it has to have a downbeat ending. Otherwise, it's better. You see what I'm saying? Like every episode had to end on a downbeat, and Party Thor's was so happy they had to throw Ultron at it because otherwise it was perfect.
I'm saying just like Thor Ragnarok too, man. Thor keeps getting
Sparks. I'm going to have to officially ask for your resignation on the show because I'm very upset you put that soccer team idea in my head, and I'm never going to get that.
I didn't do it. Loki did it.
I want that.
I know. I do too.
Can you imagine Steve Rogers captain of a soccer team?
It's
So-
it's
Now
like
question.
Mario Strikers, but with the Avengers.
So this
Now,
this was the
all right,
whole-
question. Is every Avenger a captain of a different team, or are they all on the same team?
No. It's like Loki and some of the other villains are on one team, and then
you
it's
got the Avengers
on another team, and
the
they're rival
X-Men
soccer
are playing
teams.
baseball. They're not involved.
They're in the major league. They're in Major League Baseball. That's what's going on. Okay.
God, I would kill for that. Like, but that's
I'm
the
so
thing is
mad.
like because leading into talking about this, I was thinking about like what more did I want out of this show? I want them to be way more bold and wild. And again, like I was listening to an interview with the people behind this, and they're saying like, you know, they're the main rule that they're restricted by is like they can't do anything with anything that wasn't introduced in the MCU first.
That's so
And that
silly.
sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks because that's a really shitty rule to have to
You're
sit
really
in because like
restricted.
because like the MCU is a limited thing right now. Like
I
yes,
know,
there's a lot
because-
there, but you can only go so far. And like I don't want them to be hampered of like we have to find different ways to work around these ideas because
When
we are
it's-
stuck to this one idea of a timeline. When I'm like Loki showed that there could be totally different things.
It's really stupid because like they want the MCU to be first, right? So they can't introduce a D-list villain in the animated form
This
first.
is the thing we were talking
They,
about before.
they couldn't, and there's no reason you can't put a D-list villain in an alternate reality version of himself. That's not the MCU version.
I know. That's how I feel. And
It's very
that's why,
limiting.
That's why that rule really sucks to me.
Yeah.
And it feels like the whole show is hampered by it. And that's why like a thing like that sports episode where I'm like Loki teased it up, and I'm like, that's such a bold, different thing. That is what I want the show to do. I want it to be, especially past this season, I want it to get weird and bold and do things that like you cannot see it in the live action movie.
So
because like you wouldn't put the money into it, but everything we saw this season you could see as a live action movie.
And the two episodes that I think we all love the most are the T'Challa and Doctor Strange episode. Those are the two.
Party Thor.
And Party Thor.
And
Those
Party
are
Thor.
the boldest directions out from what the MCU does, but it's still true to like those characters, and it's still fun and like.
But
it's
at the same time, at the same time they set MCU canon. There is they like this episode introduced a new element to main MCU canon, that there was a backup of Arnim Zola.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
Very
like there so where is the restriction? Like you did that already. You can set the canon that you want to set.
The restriction they
But
describe,
he exists in the show.
the restriction they describe is that they can't use
new
characters or elements that weren't initially introduced in the MCU.
Yeah.
So like they can put spins on those things and twists, but they
all right.
can't bring something that's completely new and foreign. And I'm like, that's dumb. That's just dumb.
That's silly. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool that there's a backup of Arnim Zola that was an Ultron for 2.5 seconds.
Yeah. Like that's like a cool comic idea. Like I'm cool. I like that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Backups on backups. That's what bad guys do.
I really like the when Hawkeye blew up his legs and it's like, why'd you do that for? It's like, I don't trust you. That's actually fair.
Yeah. So this goes directly right into the next episode, basically, right? Like
more or less.
Yeah.
More or
I think we're good with this episode. We'll move into the next one.
Can I say my biggest gripe about this episode first?
Please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we were robbed of Thanos Gamora. I really wanted to see that.
Sorry, this way. Look at this. Look at
There
this.
she is.
Why is she on the promo art if they knew
That's so funny.
her episode? Why isn't this Doctor Strange?
I am
Honestly,
mad.
It's as
Like,
easy
even
as changing the art.
Even after the episode was done, Faye and I were watching it together, and she looks at me, she's like, I really wish we got an episode with Gamora and Tony on Sakaar beating Thanos. I was like,
Everybody
does.
Ben, you will. You will in season 2.
You know what? I knew that episode was there because there's the Lego set. I've seen the Lego set of Tony on Sakaar. Gamora's not in the Lego set, which was a surprise to me. I didn't know that they were the same episode. But what you have done is you have cut the episode that set up the important MacGuffin for this episode.
The incinerator thing, yeah.
The important, it's not any random MacGuffin. It's the only MacGuffin that matters.
Yeah, because theoretically this episode should have gone after Party Thor, I think.
Yeah.
Gamora's episode.
Yeah. Dumb. Ridiculous that you cut that episode and not this one. I get that you want the crossover, whatever, but like then cut the Gamora scene.
So in the interview I listened to, they were asked like how early were the plans made for the crossover characters to make these anthologies connect, and they said day 2. Like, I'm like,
Oh my God.
early. That's
You
so
don't work
early.
backwards. You don't
So,
work backwards.
If you know this episode's not going to be in there, you either just you can't delay it a little bit. I guess I know they're on a time. I know like stock people, they need things to come out exactly when they come out.
Like fundamentally, there was a mentality that they had for what this show's trajectory should be, and I don't agree with it. I don't think most of us agree with it because we've all been kind of saying this should have been something later.
Yeah.
And
they wanted
they wanted to get to this, and I'm like, okay.
I thought so. Now knowing that they broke these episodes early and they had this idea, like. I believe, and I'm not behind the scenes person, so I'm only speculating here, but like you have this idea of like, okay, because of the pandemic, we're all working from home. We only have time for 9 episodes. What episode? So we prioritize, let's make sure we prioritize this finale. Wrong. You prioritize the Gamora one and push this one to season 2.
So I'm trying to think. It sucks because obviously like I would have cut the zombie one, but the zombie one is essential to what happens in this episode.
I guess so.
I guess
the disadvantage is at the time when they were probably looking at that decision down the barrel, they didn't get the season 2. Yes, you are absolutely getting season 2.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because I think that affected the decision making of this.
Mm-hmm.
But it is 100% like what a major flaw and detriment to the episode it is. And I think by not having that episode about Gamora, it highlights how poorly treated half the Guardians of the Multiverse are in this episode because you don't know them. Like you don't get a sense of them in this. Like I think Captain Carter and T'Challa Star-Lord and Doctor Strange and Party Thor are extraordinarily present.
Yeah.
And then I think Eric and Gamora are there.
Yeah. If you knew again, you're getting rid of the Gamora episode, you make her the focus on this episode so you get to know her more.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like I so don't care. And I like Killmonger, but again, like yeah, I'm there to look cool.
The length also hurts this episode, I think probably the most that we've seen so far. Because
this should have been an animated movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole concept.
Because we have this idea that in 30 minutes, you have T'Challa, Star-Lord, and Killmonger there, and you don't have a scene with them together?
They call each other cousin, but you're not my cousin. That's it.
Wow, you really are from space.
Yeah, it's just like
okay, but give us that scene. If the only reason why Killmonger is there is to be trapped by by the evil Doctor Strange, like dumb.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they honestly like they talked about how they worked out like, oh well, we really liked Eric, so we wanted to get him in there, and I'm like,
cool,
but you didn't do anything with him until the very end. Like he's just there. It's all backwards thinking, and it doesn't work. And like the characters, surprise, the characters who land the best are the 3 who we liked their episodes the most and felt the most connected to, plus Captain Carter because she finally got to do something that was original.
Yeah.
Oh man, when the episode starts and she's doing the Winter Soldier again, are you kidding me?
I looked over at Sparks and I'm like, we can't do this again. We can't do this. And I know they had to do it to set up for the end part, but like I was like, oh no.
And kill like
Black Widow, yeah.
It kills me that like we're sitting at a point right now. I didn't want to jump to this, but we will. We're sitting at a point right now where we know for sure we're getting a Captain Carter follow-up episode because of the post-credits season. They've said blatantly like that's going to happen. And I'm like, but we were going to get a whole show of T'Challa Star-Lord, and that's dead. That's dead. That's done. Which is unfortunate. And I get it. Chadwick Boseman passed away. That sucks. And I'm like, we're already not getting T'Challa back in the MCU, main.
Yeah.
Like we could get the animated show. Someone else can come and do tribute and voice that character should not be shelved from every iteration of
big mistake
Marvel stuff. I understand, but like it would be so much cooler to honor Chadwick Boseman by having someone do a tribute of the character and like still leave that person on the table. And the fact that we're just going no T'Challa Star-Lord series is like rough. Just rough.
Yeah.
I would have easily been 100% on board with the T'Challa Star-Lord series, and now we're not going to get it. It bums me out because I was out of all the What If episodes, that was the one to me that was the most. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but what ify? That was the one that was the most different out of all the MCU, out of all the ones. That was the one that was like the most like, yeah, this is where we take What If and truly spin the universe that you know it on its head. I would have loved to watch more of that, and we're not going to get it.
Yeah. And I don't think that Chadwick Boseman did such a great job with this character for the character to be put away permanently.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's such an unfortunate decision.
Yeah.
But putting that aside, like, I really hope that Captain Carter episode isn't just the Winter Soldier, but Steve's the Winter Soldier in this Hydra armor with Captain Carter, and it's the same movie. And I'm like, please don't do this.
I am down for Steve being the Winter Soldier. I am down for that idea. Don't just remake the movie though, please. You can't. It wouldn't be the same. It's not the same character.
I one of the things I did like about this episode is that we revisited the kind of the post credits teases that they've had. Like, we revisit the cliffhanger endings to pick up all these characters. I thought a lot of those were fun. Minus the Agent Carter one. In fact, it actually has I'm just gonna say it here because this episode has my favorite joke in the whole show, which is Party Thor is fighting the people and he goes and he's like, nobody messes with Vegas. And then like, Thor, please, Thor, you have been chosen.
It works the best because you've had all the others have their encounter with the Watcher, and it was all like very like,
stoic,
and then you get Thor, which is, I'm so happy it's Chris Hemsworth because he's so good, and he just turns and
I had to pause.
Like, pulling him up, and he's like, "You have been chosen."
I had to pause because I was laughing so much. That I love a scream. I love a scream.
He's like,
I'd like to imagine that he's recording lines for What If, and then they're like, "Hey, we need you to do a groan for Loki, just real quick. Can you give us a groan? You're gonna be a frog. Thank you."
Yeah, right. Just real quickly.
There's $1,000 for you.
Just a couple seconds, please, if you don't mind. Just we'll give you the royalties. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's got enough money. I am down on some of the character stuff, but again, I do think like the fight with Ultron is radical.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange making many Mjolnirs, very cool. Big dragon hands, very cool. I like all the fight.
Like a galaxy that got blown up.
Yo, he turns into Galactus for a second. Don't tell anybody. Looks good.
He does turn into Galactus first. That was pretty sweet. Also, I like. So, okay, this is backtracking a little bit. I like when, like, after the fight between the Watcher and Ultron the first time, when you see Doctor Strange in the shadow and and you can see his silhouette, it's all monstrous, but when it comes into light, he's a human. I really like that transition.
Yeah,
I just thought that was cool visual style.
I like that.
When Doctor Strange just like goes full demon Diablo Lord on us, when that's so cool.
I also really. I think that one of the things that I did appreciate is that the writers didn't forget that there were actually 2 time stones in this episode. When Ultron uses the time stone and then Strange uses it to reset, I was like, oh, good. Actually, you did it. Cool. I was actually happy that we remembered that.
Doctor Strange played a green
reverse
card. That's what he did.
That's really funny. So
time stones,
the
Infinity Stones.
The Infinity Stones work outside their own universes.
How do they work?
I don't care anymore.
No, we can't. Okay, we're talking about everything else.
But did you see their comment today?
I did.
About so they're like, well, it's not a plot hole because the Infinity Stones are powering Ultron, and Ultron is using them from the same universe for himself. He is from that universe, so it works. And I'm like, cool. So how does Doctor Strange's time stone work? I'm like, no, man.
See,
look, just say you didn't care.
I like to imagine, like, one of the writers was like, yeah, but what about
the... okay. Allow me to wax poetic a bullshit answer out of my ass. The idea that the Infinity Stones don't work outside their own universe from the comics has never been stated in the MCU. However, we know... wherever the TVA is located, perhaps nullifies the powers of the times of the Infinity Stones, because it is outside everything. It is outside time, it is outside space, it is outside everything. And so that's why the stones don't work there.
This isn't a gotcha. I actually don't remember the answer. In the time travel one's Endgame. In Endgame, when Doctor Strange, or when Bruce is talking to the Ancient One, isn't there a thing when if you take the time stone out, it messes with the universe? Like you got to keep it in the same universe?
Okay, Endgame does complicate it with the Ancient One's.
Nope, that's my answer. Okay.
No, but the idea, no matter what an Endgame is, if you change anything in the time stream, it creates an alternate reality that does not change your future. That is the time travel. That is what happens. That's what time travels.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
So if you take out the stones, no matter what if you take out the time stone, or if you take out anything, it changes the course of time. It changes the course of that universe. And if you put the thing back. If you put the thing back, it is like that thing never changed, never left. And so
Ultron's not putting them back though; he's using them in another universe.
Well, yeah, but he didn't go through time to do it.
Okay, I like the fun debate, but I like you don't really care enough to debate it because it's stupid comic book stuff.
Because the thing is, what? Okay, you know what? Actually, this does actually infuriate me.
That was 4 actuallys.
One of the things that I was interested in going into What If from Loki is exploring the rules of the multiverse. Not in like, here's the rules of the multiverse, but like, exploring the idea of what the multiverse could be in the MCU and what the thing is. And maybe it's just the writer, but what I realize now at the end of the season is that they don't give a shit about these multiversal rules, about any set rules of time travel or any set rules of the multiverse. And honestly, that's kind of frustrating for me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I agree.
That's why at the end of the day, I hand wave it and the show lessens in quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again,
Cool fight.
like I've been reading a lot of What If comics recently because they're going to be some of my book clubs, and like a lot of them are just like short stories. Like they sometimes just have bad endings. Like that's. But if that's the quality level you just want to be at, just like fluff.
Well, and I think importantly, like. I don't want to lay this all at Kevin Feige's feet because it's not his fault, but the way he has conducted the business of the MCU and Marvel Studios has implied, whether he has necessarily stated it, a certain amount of quality control and a rigorous branding and
homogenizing
grapple on what is and is not part of the universe.
Yeah,
and for certain things to, at this moment, which could change, to not be considered part of the MCU, that I would argue are a pretty high quality. While this is but this is one of our efforts, and I stand by it, stamp of approval, and I'm like, did you? Because it doesn't feel quite on the bar overall, not individual episodes, but overall that other pieces of the MCU do. Certainly not of the past 6 years or so.
Yeah.
And that's a little jarring. Now, obviously that's up in the air how much that kind of strict control in the MCU is really going to stick, knowing that there's a lot of Sony stuff about to be integrated, and very likely, I think with that, the Netflix is an inevitability rather than a question.
Double D.
But it does feel a little like, I don't.
This is what you put your name behind, Kevin.
Well, and on top of that, your first animation adventure, and I don't know that you put the full focus on this.
I don't think
or the full effort into it.
I think he was like, "You guys handle it," hoping.
I wonder, I'm like, it can't just be that you went, well, this is mostly aimed at, the kids, growing up with the MCU, and this is really for them. It can't just be that. You are part of Disney. You understand that Disney Animation strives for all ages.
Yeah.
It's very odd. And it is weird to sit here with I think it is because it's so all over the place. Falcon and Winter Soldier is a bit disappointing, but Falcon and Winter Soldier as a whole is a bit disappointing.
But it's totally consistent, kind of, right?
Yeah. It feels like you understand why it's a product of a mind of what created it, what they were going for, what didn't work, it didn't work.
Same WandaVision,
worked. Whereas here it's just bouncing around a lot.
But it is the same people making all the episodes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also them having to juggle a bunch of different genres they're not particularly maybe good at doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
This is one of those times where we talked about with Falcon Winter Soldier how there is going to be some stumbling blocks, as they move into television. It's a movie studio doing TV, and that's a different beast. And there's going to be stumbles, and they're going to have fumbles. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong. You're 100% right.
So like, I wonder how much of that we just have to be like, well, this is just one of the stumbles. But it does suck that their first animated property that they seem to be like putting all their we're going all in on this what if thing, just kind of ended up being like that's over now. Let's go into Hawkeye.
Yeah, I do think, again, like we've talked about it, like not having the same two or three people write every episode, I think was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And direct them.
Like, again, if this is Falcon Winter Soldier, like that makes sense. You have a singular vision. That's one type of show.
Right. Ryan and I talked about it off air, but it has been illuminated by interviews that the directors of the episodes are also the people telling people how to do voice readings. So there is this.
Sebastian Stan gives a voice reading. Is like, sounds great, buddy.
You need a voice director, guys. Just hey, if you guys.
Stan, can you say that any worse?
if you're gonna, hey guys, whatever your face is, AC Jackson, I don't know your name. If you're watching the show, and you're watching the show, and
AC Bradley and Matthew Chauncey.
Thank you. If you guys are watching that show and you want some constructive criticism, hire a voice director, preferably someone who's worked in animation. That'll go a long ways.
It helps, yeah. And again, like
someone like Andrea Romano. I mean, she's retired, but maybe someone who's like her, who's done this for a good long while. Maybe not.
I know.
It should be on the quality level where you would want an Andrea Romano.
No, I know.
I was about to say like that, 10, 15 years ago when she was still working. Yeah, I'm sure she'd be on this project.
Yeah.
All right.
Like that reveals a level of like
ignorance.
I'm trying to look for the right word. Like, not taking it seriously, the differences between the other projects they've made in animation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that they really thought all of it through.
Yeah.
And they get caught up in like, and this is also just a general take on like the whole season, like, and the things that have come out about being locked into the MCU. Like, they're so married, and it's been a problem in certain episodes. They're so married to having to homage or tribute the MCU as people know it. I'm like, we can definitely stretch a little here. Like, we don't have to stay locked into repeated lines or moments or bits. Like, we can be different with versions of the characters who are close enough to what we are familiar with.
Bro, when I was young, I had an idea that I wanted to write for a one shot of Tony Stark when he was young in Vegas with young Thor, and they partied and then had to fight robbers. And I'm like, I got my Vegas Thor. Like, that's a great character. Is Party Thor. Like, I love that. And I would like to see more of that. Like, at the same time, like, I love anthologies, but like Chris Hemsworth is so good. I want him to do more if he wants to, like, and I just don't know the direction the show's going to go. Because like, again, they did the big Endgame finale already. That's crazy. Yeah. They did it. What are they going to do?
And I mean, like, ideally, like, they will just be an anthology series.
I hope.
At least for the whole next season. I hope.
Yeah.
No crossover thing, just a whole season of anthology stories, and ones that are more dedicated to, like...
Well, is this a situation... And I don't know if I hate this, because in the comics they have the Exiles, which are a multiverse team that go and stop bad multiverses from going bad. Will the Guardians of the Multiverse be our main characters for the next season? I don't want that. And they go to universes. Because, like, I kind of want that, but at the same time, I just want the anthology format where they can stay on their own.
No, because I think there's really only two characters from the team that you return to at this point, because they've made it clear they're not going to return to T'Challa.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I think they should, but since that's not part of it, you're not going to return to Eric, and you're not going to return to Doctor Strange, because he's just watching them.
That's a good point, yeah.
The Watcher passed on his job. You're only going to return to, hopefully, Party Thor and Captain Carter.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay.
Maybe Gamora. I guess that's hard to say because we haven't seen that episode.
Oh, I forget. Ultron is Ultron, and who's it? Killmonger, right? Who is it? is trapped in the bubble?
Yes, Killmonger
Yeah.
and Zola.
Zola, right. They're trapped in some like dark bubble that Doctor Strange is watching. Is that something we revisit in season 2? Is that the future? Or is that a live
We finally got Zola in someone's stomach.
We did. It's a cool. I liked it. It's a good little nod.
We finally got that.
Do we? Because like my aspiration is like, oh, they save Ultron, this little thing, for 5 years, and they do a big like live action thing. But I know they won't, because that's too good to be true, right?
It cracks open, and that's the beginning of Secret Wars.
Yeah, that's like you can't say those words to me. Like that's what I want. Like,
well, we know that. Look, we as you yourself have stated, Secret Wars is on the table. I don't think we're doing a phase 4. Perhaps at the end of phase 5, we're doing Secret Wars. I could see this coming back.
Yeah,
for that,
bringing back Ultron. But the thing is, like, man, when he has all those Infinity Stones, he doesn't anymore, though, right? Or does he?
No, who has them? Eric
the
does.
Infinity Stones are in between them.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
right.
So they're locked in trying to take.
Okay,
them.
so it could break open. The stones could go anywhere, and it could be a heist to try to get them all. Okay, I'm cool with that. I like Ultron. Like, I like Ultron more than the movie itself. I would love for him to come back in live action and bring back James.
Well, and it wouldn't be Ultron because it's just Eric and Zola now.
Oh, you're right, stupid idiot.
They wiped.
Oh, I forgot. Never mind.
You know, I just realized the Infinity Crusher. The Infinity Crusher doesn't work on the stones. The stones are really complicated in this universe now.
Wait, they can only crush the Infinity Stones in the universe they're from.
See, this is why that thing got stupid again because of the Infinity Crusher.
What a MacGuffin to not know anything about.
Let's cut the episode it's based off of. Beautiful, guys. Wrap it up.
Hey, those protective armor things look sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For that.
Yo, Doctor Strange is so powerful that like
so powerful.
Ultron does like a universal destructive like Frieza wave.
And Doctor Strange is like, yo, what?
Ow, nom, nom, nom. That's sick. That is some sick shit.
I did really.
Gonna be Galactus for a hot second. Nom.
As far as go ahead.
Like, not that I don't love the Captain Carter episode, but I did appreciate the nod to when the tentacles of Shumagorath come out and she's like, yo, I fought that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do really I did actually kind of like the bit where they're running away to the Black Widow universe and they're like, how do we escape? Whoop, zombies, just dropping zombies all in Ultron.
And see, again, I like that
funny.
moment. But I wish I would have cut that episode before the Gamora one.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because like you don't really need it. Like you don't need context for that episode. It's just okay. There's a zombie thing.
Yeah, they could have got what zombies? And then at your comedy moment, yeah.
But there
that Wanda zombie moment was just wasted.
Yeah,
like it didn't mean anything.
No.
Yeah, but okay.
All in all, like I
weird
do think the fight and like the cool, like the big finale, like makes up for a lot of the finale for me. I do think the character stuff's a waste, but like it is really cool seeing like a big Infinity fight, even bigger than Endgame did. Like honestly, like this is like a huge, awesome fight. Like Doctor Strange doing his shit. Like,
yeah, it looks great.
Really cool anime shit.
Animation is sick as hell.
Yeah, it doesn't totally save it.
I
do
awesome. Like the relationship between Carter and Natasha.
Yeah, let it break out. Let it break out.
The implication of it being like carried over from Winter Soldier, and it's like we are BF. I believe the term is BFFs.
Yes,
but like it works for me. Like Belle's doing an incredible job.
I like Black Widow. Again, that's why I like
Belle. Like Belle has definitely grown on me as Black Widow throughout the series.
Mm-hmm. There's a bit where so at the end of the episode she doesn't want to go back to her home universe. Totally understandable.
Last person alive.
So he brings her to the episode where she died, the murder mystery episode. And the bit where Samuel L. Jackson is like, "You're not my widow." It's like, I don't think that would be my first thought if I saw Black Widow show up again after seeing her die.
The line's even worse than that. He's like, "You're not my widow, but I feel like you have her spirit."
Like, I feel like I would go through at least 5 more thoughts before getting to parallel universe Black Widow showed up.
I would have. Bitch, I thought you died.
Yeah,
come on. How funny would that have been?
I like the idea of what he's giving her.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that we had to revisit literally every world from the whole season.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like that there had to be some way of encapsulating every single one of them. I'm like, we didn't need to do that.
Because the episode was already so short. Like, just waste some time.
Oh yeah, we really did. I honestly thought that like
it's because they ham-fisted the zombies in and they ham-fisted that end in, and then you covered them all.
Yeah, that's true. I thought that the zombie reference would be that we'd see Peter Parker show up. Going into the season, I thought that Peter Parker would be a much bigger character in this series. I'm surprised that he wasn't, honestly.
Pops, baby.
I'm okay with it. I liked him where he was.
I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just surprised.
I do think like the team balance of like who they pay attention to and who they actually give like moments to do anything or say anything is just not overly well done. Eric's just like, he's only there to betray them in the end, and like nothing else about him is impactful. It doesn't make a ton of sense where he's at as a person in line with the episode. This actually like hurts my mentality of like that episode now, because I'm like, none of this tracks with who he was in, like, at least we had to think of who he was in that episode. I can't follow the A to B of how he gets here and gets on board with this plan. Even if the plan is ultimately so I can get this power.
Yeah. The thing with the Watcher having to have like, oh, I knew he was going to betray us the whole time. It was part of the plan. Like, if I didn't just see that happen in Endgame, where like Doctor Strange had to let this one path happen, I'm like, we just did this. Like, it doesn't feel impactful. And I'm like, we just watched all this drama for actually no real reason, because like it was destined to happen, so it doesn't feel natural anymore. I'm like, it's poopy to me.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm pulling up a...
Mjolnirs are cool, though.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oops. That's bright.
That is.
Yeah. Yeah. See? Ultron.
Oh, hell yeah.
Was that Gallimon?
Yeah, it's Gallantmon.
Okay.
Lances are real cool.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, evil dimension, crystals. Cool.
I love Thor's passion for Vegas, and every time he turns and I see that science tattoo on his arm, I'm just kidding.
Asgardian ink,
he makes me so happy.
Yeah.
When he's like, we were gonna go on a date. I was gonna shower
so quickly. Can I get a beer?
When he goes up and he yells, "Viva Las Vegas!" It's like, I don't think I've ever heard that battle cry before.
Definitely, maybe the most visually impressive episode. Maybe. Oh no, the cosmic one with T'Challa is pretty good, but like this one had just
and the multiverse battle with the Watcher.
Yeah,
the previous one. I think that one was pretty impressive.
That is, like getting punched and having reality change every punch. Like that's just cool. Into it.
I did like it. It came too soon. It came too fast.
Yeah.
It was rushed, and it was messy.
Like again, like
kind of the season.
Yeah, like when the Watcher shows up in the comics, it's like a huge deal, and it's like this is a huge deal. But I'm like, the season just started. Why are we at the event already? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, look. Hopefully the next season is better. Hopefully we see Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher in the main MCU someday.
I know.
So
100% believe it.
Here's a quick fun tidbit about like giving just another window into like wild shit I'd kind of be on board with, but I also understand that animation doesn't lend itself to this, which is the same reason why they're like the main reason why they're like, we'll never get to do an episode like that. But they were asked about an episode they wanted to do, but like it was just not going to happen, and like that they even dabbled in, but there was just no way. And it was that they definitely talked about doing the President Rogers universe and making just a complete West Wing episode about President Rogers. And like going the full Sorkin, and I'm like, well, that doesn't lend itself to animation. They're like, and we wouldn't do it because it lends it. But I'm also like, I want you to have the character chops in these episodes that you're saying you want to have about that kind of thing. That's what I want.
I don't.
Oh, neither do I.
No disrespect to the writers. I'm not a writer, but like I don't trust them to do an entire dialogue.
I am not convinced.
I would not want them to make a West Wing episode.
The issue, like, I mean, I want that episode. I don't want them to do it. The whole issue that I've struggled with this whole show is that, you know, the stronger episodes are the ones where the actors have a handle on who their characters are, who their characters should be, and the writers don't. And that's where the ones that struggle the most are the ones where the actors aren't able to carry their characters in the way that we've seen them in the MCU. Like, look, Chris Hemsworth has been playing Thor for more than a decade now. Like, obviously, he knows how to play Thor. He knows what Thor's voice should be, even an alternate reality version of Thor. And he's especially more comfortable after Ghostbusters. But I shouldn't have to rely on Chris Hemsworth to give me a good Thor.
Yeah.
I should rely on these writers.
And again, like I know a lot of people are really enjoying the show. And like that's awesome. I'm happy. Like for them, like they're already on the MCU train. More MCU, it's like just give me a goblet. Give me a goblet. And like I just need a quality control check because generally the MCU is good about that. You know, like
and I'd say pretty much solidly half of this season.
And I did enjoy that. Yeah, half the episodes I really like, and then like the rest are fine to like I don't want to think about it ever again.
I think Sparks, is absolutely correct that the show does feel like it is lacking that quote unquote Kevin Feige quality control.
Yeah.
Maybe because he's busy off being Marvel's chief creative officer, he just doesn't have the time to split between animation and the studios. Like, sure, but
that could be, but like it's also that's why I was like I don't want to lay it at Kevin Feige's feet
because
like there's more people in Marvel Studios who are responsible for like things being good than just him. He's just like at the head of it. He's the person that we look to, that we point to, but it's more than just him. And I'm like there was nobody helping to run this ship that we trusted to like have that like make sure this is MCU level quality.
Mm-hmm. So the director of the Incredible Hulk. The actor, the director of the Incredible Hulk has been a producer at Marvel Studios since the beginning. Like he's still there.
He's not really there, Brian. That's Louis Leterrier. That dude's in France making French movies. He's not really a Marvel guy.
No, I know, but like he's still a head of Marvel Studios, and he has been since its creation.
Oh, sorry, you said the director of Incredible Hulk?
Hmm?
No, you're thinking of a different person. You're thinking of Louis D'Esposito, not the director of the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, perhaps Louis D'Esposito.
Yeah, because that guy's just a film director. He's not a Marvel guy.
Okay, well, whoever I'm talking about, there are other people, as Spark said, which is why I said "quote unquote" the Kevin Feige quality control. There are other people at Marvel Studios. There's Victoria Alonso. There's Louis D'Esposito. Like I think there are other people.
A first season misstep, it is their first time doing animation,
and it is Victoria Alonso's baby now, right?
She's
She's the head of the animation division, so we'll see where that leads.
Yeah,
she took it over. So hopefully, a better second season.
And again, it's not like we have definitely been fairly negative, but like there are great episodes. They're just
and there's great moments,
but it's just unfortunately like the rest of it isn't very good. So like it weighs itself.
It just doesn't sing, and like the biggest problem for me is just we got to this point just so fast.
We shot the gun so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Premature watcher.
Watchulation.
Yeah. But
right.
I'm optimistic for the future of their animation projects, and I'm optimistic for season 2 to hopefully come back stronger. I really hope that the two running this hear fair criticism so that they actually like make some changes rather than just only hearing praise and thinking we're doing fantastic. We don't need to worry about it.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, me too. Do we want to rank the episodes?
No. I'll rate
the
season.
Bottom zombies, honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Bottom still like Captain Carter.
My interest in Haley Atwell kind of jumps it. I'll fully acknowledge that it's a bias thing. But
I like her, but that episode is rough.
Yeah. And its sequel might be even rougher.
I'm nervous based on the opening of the finale.
Yeah. All right. Shall we get in? Shall we get out of here then?
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the book club.
All right.
I want Captain Carter to have a actual voice and not sound like a caricature, because she just sounds like a caricaturized idea of female Captain America. And I'm like, you can be more. Like, you can definitely be more.
One of the many, many, many rumors surrounding every Marvel movie is that she briefly appears in the Doctor Strange movie.
You know what?
So like maybe you'll get some good stuff.
I realized it. It just crystallized in my brain. You know what the problem is? She sounds like Captain America, and that sounds silly when I say it, but she sounds like Captain America.
She's doing the thing.
She doesn't sound like Peggy.
Yeah.
They're not the same person.
That's true.
She's not the same good-willed necessarily. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she's not the same person. And they just wrote her to be Captain America, and I'm like, that's not who she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. All right. No, that'll do it. That's the end of this episode, and the end of What If. So it's the end of Fake Nerds Watch What If.
We'll see you in a year.
Thank you for joining us on this magical ride.
Half of
It
it.
had ups and downs. It was definitely a roller coaster.
The downs are just so rough, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like Thor yells about Vegas, and you're like, right, it's cool.
Right. I guess the next, we'll probably have a couple of specials of Fake News Watch we're going to sift through, but the next series is probably going to be Hawkeye in November.
What comes up first, Eternals or November or Hawkeye?
Eternals first. Yeah.
November 5th and then November 24th, 29th.
I believe so, yeah.
Marvel Ember.
So we'll have a nice chunk of time between now and Hawkeye, so stay tuned for that.
Yep.
But like I said, we'll have other Fake Nerds Watch, probably some specials of some other shows. So stay tuned.
Lower Decks is still finishing.
Lower Decks is still going. You're right. What if Lower Decks? Star Trek Lower Decks. It's got 2 more episodes to be recorded. Episode 8 will be recorded soon, and episode 9 isn't out yet. And then we'll probably go into Prodigy and then Discovery, and then Discovery.
For a second, I thought that was a tangerine.
Sorry. Did you just say episode 8 isn't recorded yet?
Episode 9 isn't recorded yet.
There you go. There you go. I was going to be like, episode 8 is up right now. I know because I edited it.
What if is 9 episodes? Star Trek Lower Decks is 10 episodes, and they start at the same time, so you can tell how you can see my confusion.
Damn you, Gamora!
It's damn you, Gamora. All right, man. If I just listen to Tony Stark say, "I want to put a suit of armor around the world again," I'm gonna flip.
I want to put a suit of armor around the world.
I want to put a suit of armor around the universe.
He should have said that. He should have said no. The universe.
I'm out.
Do you think Peter Dinklage is in that episode?
I hope so.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Oh yeah.
His trailer for Cyrano de Bergerac came out. Looks good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So stay tuned. So more Fake Nerds Watch. We're not going anywhere. Star Trek Lower Decks is going to wrap up soon. So I do that with Downright Nerdy's Michael Carls and Just a Little Podcast Cookie. On this latest episode, we'll also talk about Star Trek Discovery season 4 trailer dropped from New York Comic Con. So there's that too. So cool. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. You can check out all sorts of cool stuff that we have on this channel. We have things like Basement Arcade, which is back with a vengeance.
Yeah. You can say that again.
Basement Arcade, spooky Basement Arcade, where we get together every October, except last October, to scare the poops out of Ben.
Yeah.
Also you.
Also me.
Yeah, and you're not the one playing the game. You're the one who's just watching.
That last one was pretty scary.
Yeah, that was. I'm not gonna lie, Ryan. When you held up that little pumpkin, I thought that was a tangerine. I'm like, where the hell did you get a tangerine from?
From
The grocery store. Grocery store, Ben.
Grocery store.
The episode for Amnesia, Machine for Pigs, that's up now. Also, the first episode of Aliens Fireteam Elite that I'm hopping on to do with Sparks and Ryan.
Yeah. Killing Xenos, ripping Henos,
I also get scared in that episode.
You do.
Get boots.
Like 17 minutes in, right around there. Good Brandon scream moment.
It's not a spooky Basement Arcade, but it's honorary.
It is honorary.
It's honorary.
We're doing it. We're gonna try and get all the Aliens campaigns that are out right now in October. It might happen, it might not, but we're gonna try.
Yeah. We gotta beat the one campaign first.
We gotta beat that one campaign.
We got it. Easy.
Spoilers for that. We didn't make it.
It's the Empire Strikes Back of episodes.
Right. So check out all that. Basement Arcade is back, and then we'll keep going. There's Basement Arcade. Go ahead.
Next, I was just gonna tease up. Like next up is Ben and Brandon have played Outlast. That will be the next spooky Basement Arcade release. Look for that this coming week.
Is that the one we did last week?
Yeah,
that is the one we did last week.
That's the shit
coming out
the
this week.
Shit your pants one. Oh yeah.
I'm almost done editing it now.
So stay tuned for that. And Basement Arcade pause menu, that's still going. Benton recently talked with who?
Who did I recently? Oh, Arcade Attack. They're my buds from England.
Cool. So that's up. That's up right now. You can check that out, both audio and video format. And then there's Animation Station, New episodes are coming soon, just whenever we record them. And then Fake Nerd Book Club. And then, of course, Conversation as the audio show. Conversation is over for season 1 as of today of this recording. The final episode of season 1 has dropped. I talked to Michael Hamilton from the Kaiju Weekly podcast. Sad to have to put that one to bed, but jobs suck. But it is what it is. It's handy thing. What's his name? Thing? No, that's it. So it's Thing, right?
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
I've seen the Addams Family. All right. So Conversation, that's up right now. So check out all the episodes there. And of course, all of those are part of the Fake Nerd Podcast family of podcasts. This last episode we just did was Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Yep.
And
by the time they're watching this, it'll be No Time to Die.
Oh, you're right. By the time you're watching this, it'll be No Time to Die. We do live recordings every Sunday.
Which we actually already reviewed, but we're doing it again.
That's true. I should put the review from the last one in the description. That'd be fun. All right. No Time to Die. That's our next live recording on Sundays. Our last live recording, depending on when you're listening to this. And then coming up is Halloween Kills. Excited for that. All right. That's it. We have a Patreon. We have a TeePublic. You can check out all those. You can support us there if you'd like. We have a website at fakenerdpodcast.com where you can check out all of our cool stuff. And that's everything. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to all of our shows. Be a cool dude. Support us. Say goodbye to What If.
Bye.
Till next time you see
Bye.
us. Till next time you see us. Stay fake nerds.
We're gonna talk about it.
This way? No, the other way. I lied. Yeah, now you are Thor's booty.
Hell yeah.
You just want to be Thor's booty, didn't you?
Las Vegas!
Las Vegas!
That has got to be one of the best lines I've heard in this Marvel thing.
At the end of this, if they nailed any one character, I'd have to say it's Party Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Party Thor is always a delight.